Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barios. Guys, Ryan's our guy.
Yes, he is.
He's been on this show as a panelist, and he is unusually talented. So we are rooting for our guy, guys. But at least I am. But we see him posting videos with influencers to his social. He's back training with his dad. He posts videos in his garage and living room. He's giving Rocky from Rocky 3 before the first Clubber fight. I'm not saying Barrios is Clubber Lang, but are we worried? Even if Barrios isn't Clubber Lang, there's the physical preparation which he might be doing. But then the thing that rubs you the wrong way about this is it's like, but is your mind serious enough? But on the other hand, some guys need to be loose like that. Where do you come out on all of that?
I just think I'm going by consistency. So we know what we get when he's acting this way.
He should, strengthen his body and also learn a lot of more techniques because that's what he needs. He has the skill of boxing, but he needs to improve it.
Manny Pacquiao and Max Kellerman sat down to dissect what could be one of welterweight's most compelling matchups in recent memory. Both men agreed that Ryan Garcia brings a rare combination of hand speed and finishing power, while Mario Barios enters the fight with physical size, relentless forward momentum, and a fighter's mentality that refuses to yield. The consensus between them was clear. The outcome of this fight will not be decided by talent alone. It will be determined by who imposes discipline on chaos, who defends intelligently under fire, and who seizes control of the tempo before the other man finds his footing.
A sport like boxing, by the way, this goes for a kid in school.
Kellerman went deeper into the technical layers of this matchup, zeroing in on what separates Garcia from most fighters in the division. His hand speed is not ordinary. It is elite by any standard, and his counter left hook has ended conversations before opponents even realized they were in danger. Garcia operates best from distance, punishing fighters who telegraph their entries. But Barrios presents a different equation entirely. His reach turns defensive positioning into an offensive weapon. His chin has absorbed punishment from credible opposition, and his pressure is not merely physical, it is relentless, calculated, and designed to erase whatever comfort zone Garcia tries to establish.
149 on Saturday. The living room stuff does give me pause.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's like when Rocky and he kisses. Can I have a kiss? And Mickey's like, he ain't gonna kiss you. He's gonna kill you, right? Like, come on, man, you can't. Like, it just doesn't. He looks good. He looks like he's in shape. Ryan is like, Gabe, you're a talented fighter, right? But then there's like, Ryan is unusually talented. When you put your eyes on him, do you see unusual talent, speed and power?
Absolutely, but it's just he lacks the discipline.
Right.
And when you're fighting a guy like Barrios who is disciplined, he's a little boring. I mean, Barrios really doesn't, he's not charismatic and nothing like that. He's not like Ryan, but he's disciplined. And he has Goossen in his corner for this fight, which is going to add a lot to Barrios because he knows the errors that Ryan makes. He knows Ryan personally, so that's a plus for.
A more uncomfortable question has emerged from the analyst community, one that speaks not to Garcia's skill, but to his physical suitability for the division itself. Multiple voices have noted that Garcia does not look like a natural welterweight when he steps on the scale. He appears drained at 147, a fighter whose body is quietly outgrowing the class. The same observation applies to Barrios. Both men seem to be competing in a division their frames have already moved beyond. The real question is not simply who wins on fight night, but whether 154 pounds is where Garcia ultimately belongs, and whether competing at the wrong weight will eventually cost him in ways no training camp can correct.
I'm looking at Ryan's face. I think Ryan's a 54-pounder. Even at 47, he looks gaunt to me. Like, I hate the day before weigh-in. Let me just tell everyone about this real quick, catch people up in the history of this. They went to day before weigh-ins because fighters were drying out day of weigh-ins, right? You weigh in, you dry out, you weigh in, you make weight, and then you rehydrate, and they thought it was dangerous. So it was well-intentioned to move it a day before so they have time to rehydrate. But all it did was have fighters cut more weight to fight in even smaller divisions for a so-called weight advantage, and then they'd hydrate more. No one's fighting in the right division anymore. Look at Ryan's face there. We know Ryan in personal life. he's a big kid.
Yeah,
like to me, he should already be at 54.
Yeah, Max, I actually had dinner with a few boxing insiders on Friday in Vegas, and we were all talking about it. Like, Brian's a guy that could easily fight at middleweight.
Yeah.
At 54, he's a big guy. You know, Mario Barios is another one. He was fighting at 122.
Ridiculous.
Look at the size of Mario Barrios. So
Ridiculous.
I think all of these guys, and Gabe Rosado knows him.
When Manny Pacquiao spoke directly to Ryan Garcia, the message carried the weight of lived experience rather than scripted encouragement. Pacquiao did not offer general motivation. He spoke in specifics. Stay sharp, stay focused. Understand that discipline is not something you find in the middle of a fight. You build it before you ever enter the building. Timing and composure, Pacquiao told him, are what separate fighters who perform under pressure from those who simply survive it. This matters to fans because when a legend addresses a rising contender, it signals something beyond the moment. It signals succession and the quiet passing of expectation from one generation to the next.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Look up to you.
Ryan Garcia has never concealed the depth of his admiration for Manny Pacquiao. To Garcia, Pacquiao is not simply a champion from a previous era. He is a blueprint, a fighter who built greatness, not just inside the ring, but through the entirety of how he carried himself publicly and professionally. Garcia has spoken openly about studying Pacquiao's career, not to imitate his style, but to absorb the principles beneath it. The lessons Garcia draws from Pacquiao are about longevity, about navigating the politics and pressures of elite boxing without losing the competitive edge that made the career possible in the first place. At a human level, this kind of idolization reveals something important about Garcia. He is still chasing something larger than a title.
Out there, I mean, I'm telling you, like, that's one of my idols. Like, I really look up to Pacquiao. Like, people don't know, but like, he's one of the people I look at. I'm like, man, like, this guy is everything I would want to be, you know, as a career, as a fighter, because he did everything, like, you know, with such grace, and he did, you know, hit up spectacular fights. He helped out his community. I'm trying to do things similar like that, but me, I'm more of I want to give back to, you know, like the younger generation. I want to help them with like anxiety and stuff like that, and just mental things that I know a lot of kids my age we go through, especially this generation. I mean, the that just out there on the internet, and then these kids doing horrible things like shooting. I think it stems a lot.
Both fighters stepped in front of the cameras and delivered exactly what their camps intended. Garcia projected sharpness and controlled confidence, speaking about the quality of his preparation and the clarity of his game plan with the tone of someone who has settled every internal debate. Barrios countered with something equally powerful, not polish, but inevitability. He spoke like a man who has already decided that no matter what Garcia brings, he will walk through it. At a psychological level, this kind of pre-fight dynamic reveals two distinct competitive philosophies colliding. One believes in precision, the other believes in will. The ring will determine which philosophy survives contact.
Looking forward to this fight. I'm excited. I'm ready. Been in a long camp, but only a couple days away.
This fight means everything to me. I get the win by being who I am.
As a person, it's hard to say. It kind of seems all over the place, but you know, as a fighter, very unpredictable, very explosive, so that makes him a dangerous opponent.
He seems like a really down-to-earth guy. As a fighter, he's a really good all-around guy.
I think there's a lot of flaws in his fighting style. I think there's a lot of flaws in his personality when it comes to, you know, just heart, like that grit.
Well, I just feel like it's a do-or-die moment, and this fight is going to determine a lot into my future.
I'm the first one to touch it.
Garcia did not speak in generalities when pressed about how he sees the fight unfolding. He was specific. Round 8. That is where he expects the fight to end. He spoke about Barrios with a mixture of respect and strategic clarity, acknowledging that Barrios is the kind of opponent who continues to function even when most fighters would disengage. That durability is real, Garcia conceded, but it is also something he intends to wear down systematically. What gave the interview its most revealing moment, however, was Garcia's unprompted return to the subject of Devin Haney. The regret was visible. He could not finish that fight when the opportunity was there, and that incompletion has become fuel. He promised a different outcome when the time comes. Barrios, for now, is the obstacle standing between Garcia and the credibility he is still building.
What's a prediction? What's going to happen?
A prediction? Man. 8, 9, 10.
8, all right.
8, 9, 10.
I think that sounds. I'm going round 8.
I like that. 8, 9, 10.
I think round 8 is.
Feels good.
Feels good, yeah.
Yeah, it feels good for a real fight. We're gonna get to it. And Barrios is one of those guys. he'll get cracked and he'll keep trying to fight. So.
Well, look, you're one of the best finishers in boxing. Like,
Yeah.
I know you didn't finish Devin Haney, but you had him
That ref
drowned.
saved him. I should have knocked him. I just didn't have the conditioning.
I think it still bothers you, huh?
Yes, because I should've knocked him out in that 11th, man. I was playing around too much, and I was like, ha ha, like, bro. But next time, oh, that next time, buddy, you won't have a next time. I'm finishing you. You will never box again if we fight again, and you know that. And I have vowed to that. If we fight again, you will never box again.
When Garcia was asked to frame the matchup analytically, his answer was direct and unapologetic. He believes he is simply the superior fighter when operating at his ceiling, not because of reputation or social media presence, but because of the tools he possesses and the levels he can reach when everything connects. He acknowledged Barrios as a legitimate warrior, a fighter built from difficult contests who carries the accumulated damage of those wars inside his body. Garcia's calculation is not dismissive, it is clinical. He believes that damage history, when targeted correctly, becomes a strategic advantage. A warrior's toughness, Garcia suggested, eventually becomes his ceiling.
What type of fight are you expecting against Barrios? And I say that because we've seen him look great when he won the title against Yordenis Ugas, sent him into retirement. He is coming off back-to-back draws at this moment. Do you feel like this is a matchup that ultimately favors you in a big way?
I do see it favoring me, but for reasons, because I'm the better fighter. That's it. And when I'm at the top of my game, I don't think anybody could really mess with me. And that's what I've been putting into this camp. I see him as a warrior that's been through a little bit of wars that's kind of wearing him down. I don't think the new trainer switch and then come into a fight like this, you know, is a good move. And he's about to find out that ain't a good move at all. And I think it's all.
Mario Barios sat across from the camera with the calm of a man who has already done the work. He spoke about Garcia's weaknesses not as talking points, but as operational targets. Every fighter, regardless of how gifted, carries exploitable patterns. Barrios intends to find them, and he is not navigating this fight alone. With Joe Goossen in his corner, an experienced strategist who understands elite-level boxing at its most demanding, Barrios has access to the kind of guidance that turns physical ability into structured execution. This matters to fans because it signals that Barrios is approaching this fight not as an underdog swinging wildly, but as a prepared professional with a specific plan.
Just go in there. I can just use my attributes, use my boxing skill, just work on everything that me and Joe have been working on in the gym.
It's gonna be one of those moments when I'm whooping his ass. I just have a little glance at Joe and be like, yeah, what's up? I'm gonna take advantage of everything that I see in that ring.
I see a huge advantage having Joe in my corner. You know, Joe knows Ryan, you know, very well. More importantly, just the game plan that we have worked on, you know, for Ryan's style. There's no way that we're not going to be successful.
I made a lot of changes in every aspect, and this fight will show everything that I've been working on.
First things first, you know, I need to take care of Ryan on Saturday, but there's a lot of big names on the horizon. There's a lot of big fights to be made.
I'm open to every opportunity, but yeah, we do expect him to be chirping while I'm fighting, little chihuahua, but it's all good.
Still not going to get involved with their circus. You know, who knows what else is going to come up, you know, with fight week. I'm just going to stay quiet, just stay patient. Fight day is the only thing that I'm looking forward to.
When Garcia learned that Joe Goossen, the man who once guided his own development, had accepted a position in Mario Barrios' corner, his first response was laughter. Not the kind that deflects or diminishes, but the kind that arrives when reality arranges itself into something almost too strange to take seriously. Garcia described it that way openly, with a self-awareness that suggested he understood exactly how the narrative would be read. But beneath that initial amusement, something sharper was forming. The situation had become personal in a way that no external opponent could manufacture. Goossen's presence in the opposite corner does not complicate Garcia's preparation, it clarifies it.
So much of the build to this Mario Barrios fight has been the revolving trainer, the Joe Goossen situation. It was a colorful press conference in which it felt like you were stirring the pot. Are you really that upset? Are you trying to play mental games? Where do you stand right now on your ex-trainer becoming Mario's new one?
I mean, I don't know how I actually feel about it, you know. I just know my first instinct was
a little laughter within myself. Like, that's pretty funny, you know? And I say that with sarcasm. It's like, I wonder if he even thought about it, you know? I kind of think, like, did he think about it? I guess nobody gives a game. Cool, let's go. I'm really gonna rip this dude's head off. I'm gonna beat his ass in front of this guy bad.
Garcia moved past the subject of Goossen quickly, and what replaced it was something more elemental than rivalry or psychology. He wants a statement, not a decision, not a technical victory, a decisive, undeniable performance that answers every question that has been asked about him at this weight class, in this division, at this level of opposition. He spoke about domination not with aggression, but with a kind of settled certainty. Proving himself in front of Goossen is a layer of motivation, but the foundation beneath it is simpler. Garcia wants to stand in that ring when it is over and have nothing left to explain.
Do you have ill will for Joe, or is it more of just like a motivation to prove everyone wrong?
Oh, it's always a little bit of motivation within myself. It's like, okay, it's almost like you want to whoop his ass even worse. Like to do it, like show him, like, nah, I don't care who's training him. Like, I'll whoop his ass. Like,
Henry Garcia came forward with a father's conviction and a cornerman's precision. He described his son's training camp as the most complete preparation of Ryan's professional career across every measurable dimension. Physically, Ryan is stronger and better conditioned than he has ever been at this stage before a major fight. Mentally, there is a clarity and focus that Henry says has impressed every trainer in the room. The workouts are being executed exactly as designed. The sparring has reflected the game plan rather than drifted from it. Henry's message to fans was straightforward. The version of Ryan Garcia that walks into that ring on fight night will be the best version that has ever competed. The WBC welterweight title is not a dream. It is the next step in a plan that is already in motion.
In shape, and he can only get better, but he's already at his peak. I'm really happy and proud of him. I know you're strong.
Attaboy, champ, let's go. There you go.
Y'all see that one pimple right there in the middle of the nose? That means I'm reindeer. I'm Rudolph the reindeer. What was he? He was different. Santa wanted him. Nobody wanted him, but Santa did.
Henry did not speak about Barrios with contempt. He spoke about him with the measured acknowledgement of a man who has spent years evaluating fighters honestly. Barrios is credible. He is experienced. He brings real challenges to the table, but Henry's assessment was unambiguous. Ryan's speed, timing, and power do not simply give him an advantage. They give him a decisive structural edge that Barrios, for all his toughness and pressure, will struggle to neutralize. When you combine that physical advantage with the mental focus Ryan has demonstrated in camp and the depth of preparation behind him, Henry argued, the threat Barrios represents shrinks considerably. This is not dismissal. It is confidence built on evidence.
It means the world to me. Ryan and I have been through a lot. You know, we've been doing this since he was 7 years old. To come all, it's like a cycle, just to come all the way around. You know, going through some trainers, even though I was his coach for, 13 wins, 12 KOs. I stepped down. I humble myself, as a father. And that's what fathers sometimes should do, to keep that bond. And I did it for that reason, and of course there was politics involved too. But that's fine, I was still the assistant. See, so Ryan, knew that. So as long as I was there, Ryan felt very comfortable. But now we're back together and we're here to win.
How's I guess, what do you guys are expecting, like, from this fight? Like, how is, in your opinion, obviously you feel Ryan's gonna win. How does that win look like on Saturday?
Well, it's gonna be a good win. I never predict knockouts, but if I always tell Ryan, if you see it, go for it. Go ahead and take it.
Mario Barios has shared a ring with Manny Pacquiao, and that experience gave him a frame of reference that very few active fighters possess. Fighting Pacquiao, Barrios explained, was a graduate-level examination in timing, ring intelligence, and strategic adaptability. Every round presented a new problem because Pacquiao continuously forced adjustments. The legendary Filipino champion operated through experience and composure, demanding patience and precision from everyone who faced him. It was, Barrios described it, like trying to solve a problem that kept changing its own rules. Garcia is an entirely different kind of challenge. Where Pacquiao tested the mind, Garcia tests the body and the reflexes simultaneously. His speed is not manufactured, his power is genuine, and the danger he presents is immediate rather than accumulated. Barrios sees this fight as an athletic and tactical execution problem, one that will be decided not by veteran cunning, but by adaptability under explosive pressure.
Thing is, this man, Manny Pacquiao, we're going to talk about him just for a little bit, who Ryan Garcia has said is a hero of his, and you're going to face Ryan Garcia. So you're going back to back. But Manny Pacquiao, being over the hill, quote unquote, he still had that game. He still had the speed and reflexes. He still had the IQ and certain things that, like you said, it's different when you're in there, huh? Kind of threw you off a bit.
Yeah.
So, with Ryan Garcia, you can match him physically. The guy is a tall guy. All right, the guy's a strong guy, so are you. Knockout power, you got the length, all those things. But his speed, how are you going to deal with that speed without giving too much away? I don't want you to give too much away, but how are you going to deal with that speed when you guys fight?
Timing always beats speed, and boxing IQ also. And I think, going into this fight, I know I'm the better fighter. I know on a boxing level, not saying that Ryan isn't good. He's good at what he does. He's very explosive. But I just know I'm the better fighter. I just know what I'm better at in this fight, and I'm gonna show that on the February 20th.
Keith Thurman did not hide his frustration when the conversation turned to assumptions about Garcia's power at welterweight. A reporter's suggestion that knockout victories at lightweight automatically translated into elite-level power at 147 pounds visibly irritated him, and he pushed back with the authority of someone who has competed at the highest level of the division. Thurman's argument was precise. Power is not simply a fixed attribute that travels unchanged across weight classes. It is contextual. A knockout against fighters competing at a lower weight does not demonstrate what a fighter can do against men who are naturally built for 147 pounds, who absorb punches differently, and who impose a physical reality that smaller fighters simply cannot replicate. Reputation and platform, Thurman insisted, are not evidence. Results against the right opposition are.
You think Ryan's got a bigger punch than that? Bigger punch than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when Ryan touches you
No, when he touches lightweights, see, he hasn't dropped real welterweights.
Okay, yep.
Is there even a real welterweight in the welterweight division? I think Conor Benn's the only real welterweight left at 147. So this new welterweight game is lightweights moving up. Okay, there's no OG 147, and with that, I can't give Ryan the credit you're trying to give him.
Okay.
Yeah, with that.
How likely is it though, with those names, that you're like, 47 looks pretty good?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I could eat him up like Tic Tacs, baby. I mean, I already beat Mario Barios, schooled him. He's champion and remaining champion. He got back-to-back draws. That's a history in the making. Not an entertaining one, but it's history in the making. Drawing, so let's see if Ryan can, beat him. And then, like I said, they're all lightweight.
The tension in Thurman's voice did not decrease as the conversation continued. He returned to the same point with increasing emphasis, stressing that Garcia has not yet produced the kind of defining performance at welterweight that would remove these questions permanently. Moving up in weight is not a formality. It is a genuine challenge that has ended careers and exposed limitations in fighters who appeared dominant at lower divisions. Thurman's position was not personal, it was structural. The burden of proof in boxing belongs to the fighter stepping into unfamiliar territory, not to the critics asking whether he belongs there. Garcia must answer those questions in the ring, and no amount of pre-fight narrative will substitute for that answer.
They're playing with fire once again, stepping into somebody else's territory once again, But it's boxing, man, and we want to make great fights, and sometimes it takes great names to sell big fights. And so we are, like I said, I already slapped Mario Barrios up, outclassed him, so it would take Ryan to...
Robert Garcia sat alongside Paulie Malignaggi and offered an analysis of Ryan Garcia's career that balanced recognition with honest scrutiny. Robert acknowledged that Ryan has benefited from favorable timing, that the division's current landscape created opportunities that a different era might not have provided, but he was careful to separate timing from character. Taking advantage of available opportunities is not a character flaw. Every fighter who ever built a meaningful career did exactly that. The real question Robert kept returning to was discipline. Ryan possesses natural gifts that can make the difference in any fight at this level, but natural gifts require structure. They require a commitment to the game plan, a willingness to follow instruction even when instinct argues for something else, and a mental consistency that sustains itself across 12 rounds. Robert's conclusion was not cynical. It was grounded. Talent opens the door. Discipline determines what happens after you walk through it.
And they're, Paulie. Hopefully he is investing his money.
He's like Destiny's Child. He's a survivor. He just keep blasting. He's in there, right? He just keeps blasting.
Good for him, man. Good for him. Can't be mad at him. You know, can't be mad at his luck. Because I could say that is luck. You know, he's lucky that these guys are around in the division and calling his name out and fighting him. But when it comes to the fight, look, Ryan is got so much power and speed that if Ryan does prepare himself and Ryan does pick the right trainer to come up with a good game plan, and Ryan follows it, because I'm not saying, you know, he's never had great trainers. He's had great trainers, but if he doesn't follow the instructions and if he doesn't follow the game plan, then there's nothing nobody could do. If Ryan does follow the game plan and disciplines to put up
Oscar De La Hoya approached this matchup with the perspective of someone who understands both the business and the craft of elite boxing. He called it genuinely compelling, not because of what surrounds the fight, but because of what happens when two distinctly different fighting philosophies collide inside the ropes. Garcia brings speed, precision, and explosive finishing ability. Barrios brings size, durability, and a forward pressure that is designed to make precision unreliable. De La Hoya's reading of the fight was sophisticated. This is not about which fighter is more talented in the abstract. It is about which fighter can impose his version of the fight on the other and sustain that imposition across 12 competitive rounds. Strategy, adaptability, and composure under accumulated pressure will matter as much as any physical advantage either man carries into the building. De La Hoya reserved his most pointed observation for last. Social media generates noise. Boxing generates results. The only thing that will matter when the final bell sounds is what actually happened between those two men inside that ring.
You know, I'm excited in particular of seeing, you know, what's going to take place once they step inside the ring, once the lights are on you, once the first bell rings. Who's going to feel the butterflies? Who's going to feel the excitement, the adrenaline? Everything comes into play. When that first bell rings and they land punches, you know how the fight's going to play out, right? And I'm looking forward to that, because this welterweight showdown, like I said in the podium, these guys are fast, these guys are strong, they throw a lot of punches, they're durable. Barrios, a world champion. Ryan's, he's going to try to become world champion, so a lot's at stake for both guys. It's going to be a very entertaining fight.
Every conversation surrounding this fight eventually arrives at the same unresolved question, and that is appropriate. Ryan Garcia's speed and finishing ability are real. Mario Barios' toughness and pressure are equally real. Two genuine competitive forces are moving toward each other, and neither of them is constructed from hype alone. What the sport demands now is not louder predictions or more confident declarations. What it demands is patience. The fight itself is the only forum where these questions find honest answers. And when it is over, the result will carry more weight than anything said before it, because in boxing, the ring has always been the last and only authority that matters.